My name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today we're going to talk about 4 songs written by George Harrison that Paul McCartney likes. But first, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comment, tell me if you like these tracks or not, okay? Well, let's start. The first one is called Marwa Blues, and it was released back in 2002 on Harrison's posthumous album, which became his final album called Brainwashed, released more than 20 years ago. And McCartney, back in 2003, he was talking about some of his favorite songs of all time in an interview with Uncut magazine. And he mentioned this track. This track was the album, because Harrison passed away in 2001. And this album was finished by his son Danny Harrison and Jeff Lynne, who is the leader of Electric Light Orchestra. He was Harrison's bandmate in the Traveling Wilburys, and also a co-producer in many albums that Harrison did in his solo career. And we move to the second song, which is a Beatles song, and it's quite interesting because Harrison complained a lot, especially after the band was over, that it was really hard for him and Ringo to show their compositions to John and Paul, because obviously John and Paul are certainly the most successful songwriting partnership of all time, and most of the Beatles songs were written by them, at least the lyrics, and they wouldn't give them much space to present their tracks, and Harrison even said that they would have to record many Lennon and McCartney songs until they finally could present their own songs to them and they could work on them. So Harrison and Ringo didn't have that space in the Beatles that much to show their songs. And Here Comes the Sun is certainly one of the biggest classics of the band. It was written by Harrison. And this is the song that Paul McCartney said he really liked in a session of questions and answers back in 2020. And he said, Here Comes the Sun, it's a brilliant song, and the kind of song that's really good in times like this. He was talking about the COVID and the pandemic and etc. And we move to the next one, which is the third one, is Taxman, which was also written by George Harrison. And curiously, it was released in the band's famous 1966 album Revolver. And curiously, George was often responsible for the guitar solos of the songs, but he actually didn't play the guitar solo in this particular track. It was actually Paul McCartney who played the guitar solo on this track. So, well, I don't know, maybe Paul picked that one because he played the solo. I'm just kidding, I don't know, man. But that's the track that he also praised, which is called Taxman. He also said in an interview with Guitar Player in 1990 that we selected that he liked Taxman just because of what he was. It was, he said, it was really my first voyage into feedback. I got the guitar and was playing around in the studio with the feedback and stuff. So I said to George, maybe you could play it like this. I can't quite remember how it happened that I played, but it was probably one of those times when somebody says, well, why don't you do it then? George was generally a little more restrained in his guitar playing. He wasn't into heavy feedback. When people say great solo on Taxman, I don't think he's too pleased to have to say, well, that was Paul actually. That's what he said about the song back in 1990. And we reach finally the fourth one, which is Something, probably the most famous Beatles song written by Harrison, which the legend goes that it was inspired by his ex-wife, Pattie Boyd, who later on became also Eric Clapton's wife, and reportedly inspired another really classic song, which is Layla. And well, that's how the legend goes. But Something's a beautiful ballad. It's a beautiful song, certainly, and he really it's really an incredible track, and it had Harrison on vocals, but for, you know, especially ever after Harrison's death in 2001 at the age of 52, McCartney frequently features that song in almost every concert he makes in his solo career. And it's quite interesting. I had the chance to see Paul twice, and you know, over these past years, his set list is practically the same. He doesn't change the set list that much, maybe one or two songs. And he always played, both times he played something, and he says, well, this one is for George, my special friend, and etc. And he says that Paul was a great ukulele player, and he starts playing something in the ukulele, quite different from the original version, and then the guitar kicks in, and you know, the song is in it. You know, it's quite an incredible tribute to George, obviously, but it's one of those incredible songs. And if you have the chance to hear Paul singing that song, man, I saw him twice in stadiums full of people, and you know, here in Brazil, we are quite of a participative audience, and we sing the songs along with them, and we really put our hearts out in you know, all the emotions, and it's really beautiful to see a whole stadium singing that song. And well, that's it. I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and if you want to read more, read all these statements, you can go to the description and visit the article we wrote about this. Okay? Thank you for watching, and I see you later.